Don't!
This is one of old Hollywood's wildest scandals. A story about my grandparents, film producer Walter Wanger, and actress Joan Bennett. I'm Vanessa Hope.
And I'm Karina Longworth. Together with Vanity Fair and Cadence 13, we'll tell this untold story, a film noir played out in real life.
Introducing Love is a Crime. Tune in at listen.vanityfair.com/loveisacrime.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
This month on the 11th, a writer named Sarah shares the story of a false accusation of sexual misconduct. And then her inbox is flooded with hundreds of other people saying they too have been falsely accused. A professor, a federal government whistleblower, a candidate for sheriff. What responsibility does she have to these other stories, these other people? Was it her role to decide who's telling the truth? That's this month on the 11th, a new podcast from Pineapple Street Studios.
Jimmy, do we have an update on Cristiano Ronaldo?
Nope. Still the same.
I care about these things, crowd. I know you don't. Like,
where does Cristiano Ronaldo go?
Yeah. Like today.
Way down my old totem pole of importance.
The UEFA Champions League draw was released like an hour ago, and I'm looking here like you.
The who would league? The UEFA.
The UEFA Champions League.
UFU.
Yeah. The UEFA Champions League.
The Europoa.
The Europe. That's right. Crowder, famously, professional sports broadcaster, called the UEFA the Europoa.
Knowing it's overseas, I think it's better.
Yeah. All right, let's get to headlines here. Again, Dan Horde, he's going to join us in the next segment. I want to play some flow sound from today's press conference with the media. He spoke before practice. Tua did practice today, and then I believe the Dolphins are going to travel Saturday afternoon, and they'll get to Cincinnati Saturday night, and then they will be playing Sunday, their final preseason game. Is there anything that you are looking forward to in this game? We talked about it yesterday. Hawk was saying this game, unless he gambles on it, won't pique his interest past, I don't know, maybe the first couple plays because you want to see Joe Burrow. But as for the Dolphins, like, I don't know. We saw Sam Eguavoen or Eguavon, or I still don't know what we're calling him. We saw him kind of ball out the other day. Yeah. I think the way you framed it was that's the way a surefire NFL player should play against guys that are going to get cut, right? Yes, that's the way it should look. Is there any, do you want to see him again? Do you want anybody?
No, that's like the Sam Eguavoen thing. Just think about this. Sam Eguavoen went to the CFL. I think Sam Eguavoen's probably in his late 20s. He's playing against kids that just got out of college. Like, you should whoop their ass, be honest. The Joe Burrow thing interests me to see him come back off an injury. Okay. Nasty injury, too. You remember nasty when he got not hit by – he was playing the Washington football team. Just it was ugly. And I'm digging here, the receiving core. Like, we know the guys that are going to make it, but the Kai Loxleys, the Khalil McLeans, the Kirk Merritts, I'm reading this too. I don't know these names by heart. Those guys are going to be in the game late. Now, we won't see Waddle much. We won't see Preston. We won't see Albert. We won't see Devontae. We won't see Will Fuller. Like, those lower-tier receivers, it's going to be the last two guys. And this is really what this last preseason game's about. The guy from 45 to 53 on the roster. Like, the Dolphin depth chart is set. I don't know if people know that. Right now, there is a big-ass board in the Dolphin facility in the coach's office, the coach's meeting office, and has the first string and second string set on their board already. The third string guard, the sixth string receiver, those guys are who's fighting for a job on Sunday.
Yeah, so you mentioned Kirk Merritt there, and Flo actually spoke about Kirk Merritt. We don't have the audio of this, but he said, quote, he's learning to get how to get on a routine, stay on a routine, believe in a routine, and that the extra film study, work on the jugs machine, extra reps in the weight room, things of that nature will help him make improvements. And I think we've seen those improvements, basically just talking about his professionalism and how he can become a better football player. But I am interested, you're right, about is Kirk Merritt going to make it? Are we going to see a surprise? I know we've talked about Jakeem Grant for a ton during this training camp, and the receiving core is just so stacked. Will Fuller, I think, said yesterday, I mean, he's an NFL veteran, right? Like, Will Fuller knows how to get the job done in the NFL. He said, like, this is maybe the best wide receiving room he's been in the NFL. And that's saying a lot considering he was in Houston with
D-Hop.
Right, with D-Hop. So, like, that's saying a lot. And he may just be pandering to his teammates. I don't know, because I don't think anybody's as talented as DeAndre Hopkins on this team. But, like, it goes to show you, Jakeem Grant, somebody who has been with this organization a lot, he's proven that he can find ways to be useful, whether it's special teams, whether it's breaking off a big run. Like, he's proven that he can be useful on a football team. He'll make an NFL roster this year.
Oh, for sure.
But, like, he's on the outside looking in at this point, right?
Oh, for sure. And with his low salary being, I think, under $5 million, right under $5 million this year, he is one of the best. He's one of the best punt returners in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's what it is. Jalen Waddle does that. What's the other? Malcolm Perry does that. They had a lot of guys back there returning punts. So those guys aren't making what Jakeem's making. Jakeem is not, and I know he's a fan favorite. I think because he's little. If Jakeem Grant was 6 feet, we wouldn't love him like we do. To be honest, I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
People love him because he's so tiny, but he gets the job done. One of the best punt returners. He is not a good receiver. He is a mediocre receiver at best. So if you have guys that can return punts, if he's an A-plus returner, if you can get a B-plus returner that can also play receiver, and he's at $5 million and that guy's at $1 million or $2 million, you're going to replace him. And maybe you're not getting a first, second rounder back for Jakeem Grant. What if you get a fifth or sixth? Trade him, get something back for him.
Some sort of value, right?
I do believe you get some sort of value for Jakeem Grant. You trade him, low salary. The other team doesn't have to come out the pocket a lot. If I have to guess, Jakeem Grant gets traded before the season starts.
All right, some quick headlines, and then we'll play some flow sound for you. Just a quick update from practice. This report is brought to you by Rubenstein Law. If you're injured in a car accident or slip and fall, call Rubenstein Law, 1-800-FL-LEGAL. They're also open on weekends. As we've mentioned, Dolphins, Bengals, Sunday in Cincinnati. It's a 4 p.m. game. You can hear the broadcast, which airs live on 560 WQAM, live with your own Channing Crowder and Kevin Rogers. That kicks off noon Eastern time here in Miami. And the network portion begins at 2, kickoffs at 4, and then you'll have the post-game show as well. Travis Wingfield, OJ, the Juice, right? And Seth Levitt.
And Seth.
At around 8:15 once that game ends. The Marlins, they'll play the Nationals tonight, 7:10 p.m. Finally ended that losing skid. If you're a big fan of the show, you were listening yesterday, I begged Hawk. I don't know about begged, but I told Hawk, let's bet the Orioles. They're not going to lose 20 straight. And I was right. And Hawk didn't want to bet it. You didn't either. We should have bet last night. They beat the Angels 10-6. They end a 19-game losing streak. Tomorrow, it's the Turnpike Derby. Inter Miami at Orlando City. Our very own Steven Preciado. He will be there 8:30 p.m. holding down the fort, representing Inter Miami. It's a big game. Big game.
Is it really the Turnpike Derby, or is that made up?
The Turnpike Derby.
Is that made up? Because I know El Clasico has a name, but
So when the two LA teams meet, they call it El Tráfico.
Yeah, they took the good name.
Yeah. That could have worked for us too. I think there was another good one, El Sun Pacifico, which was pretty good. The Sun Pass Derby. The thing is that in England, they call it a derby. A derby is when there's two teams in the same city that play each other. So, like the Manchester Derby, they call it the Derby because it's Manchester United and Manchester City. I get that. The thing is that other than L.A., I don't think there are two MLS teams in any given city. So, whatever, right? It's South Florida. It works. We call it the Turnpike Derby.
Okay.
Turnpike Derby.
So there's T-shirts that say that.
Probably.
I'm just saying, it's just as fans making it up, or is it a thing?
I think fans made it up.
Oh, okay, because it sounds silly as hell. But,
Yeah.
I'm
It's one
sorry.
of those things that they're trying to make a thing, but it's kind of hard to jump on.
I see it's hard. It's silly.
It's hard because Inter Miami hasn't been competitive, so
That
nobody
too.
cares.
Yeah.
But that's changing. Maybe. Today's National Dog Day. We haven't talked nowhere near enough about dogs as I wanted to. I know it just bothers you talking about dogs.
Oh, no, I have a dog. I have a mini Labradoodle. I was always a Rottweiler guy. I had like 6 Rottweilers
That
growing
makes
up.
sense to me.
And then I get my wife and kids, and they want a hypoallergenic dog, so they get a mini
You
Labradoodle.
became a dad.
Yeah,
You wanted
so-
a tough, rugged-looking dog.
Yeah, I want a dog that earns his feed. Like, I'm from the country. When you're in the country, whoever's in the house needs to earn their feed.
Man.
Kids earn their feed by getting educated. Adults earn their food by working. Dog needs to earn his food by protecting the house.
Oh, you just give him a treat. He looks cute. Here you go. Just give him a treat.
You got one of them little fat, ugly, pug-looking dogs, don't you?
Don't you dare confuse a Frenchie with a pug. How dare you, Channing Crowder?
Oh, so you got an expensive-ass pug.
I got a French bulldog, adorable. I love him.
If
the doc.
if I kick your door in, what's your dog? Fauci, right?
Yeah.
If I go to your house right now and kick your door in, what's Fauci gonna do?
Oh, he'll come right up to you, give you a couple kisses, some licks on the leg.
And as
show you some affection.
I carry your TV out and rummage through your room and closets, he's gonna just lick my ankle.
Just give him a treat. He'll love you.
You're wasting food.
No.
You're wasting food.
No.
You buy him snacks and food, $20, $30 a week. You had to earn your feed where I'm from.
Quick little peanut butter cookie. Oh, do whatever you want. You want him to give you a high five while you're taking that TV out? It'll be the best experience ever robbing a house.
He's not earning his food.
Your weather from the Demesman and Dover Accident Attorney Weather Center. Call 24/7 at 866-954-MORE. Let's check in with Kodak Black from the Weatherplex.
It is partly cloudy with a temperature of 90 degrees with a feel of 99.
Jimmy, do you have a dog?
No, I do not.
Are you a dog person or you just never?
Yeah, I like dogs. I mean, I used to have a dog.
Okay.
Did he earn his food?
Well, it was a she. So.
Don't
Did
answer
she
that,
earn
Jimmy.
her food?
Yes, she earned it.
What kind of dog was it?
Last dog I had was a Pomeranian.
Oh,
Wasn't
Pomeranian.
earning no food.
Pomeranian.
Jimmy.
Pomeranian.
Barking doesn't get food.
Take
Barking's
that.
just noise.
Take that, Crowder. All right, quickly, let's play this this quote here. This is Flores explaining Tua and most starters not going to play Sunday.
Yeah, Tua won't play on Sunday, and we'll probably rest most of the starters. We're still going through that as a staff. We have to play the game, so we're not going to rest everybody. There'll be some guys in there who'll get an opportunity to showcase, or apply the fundamentals, the techniques, the things we've been talking about the entire training camp. Guys who haven't had as many reps in games, but there'll also be some guys who have played in the previous two games and playing in this one as well. So we'll try to rest most of the, let's call them starters.
That's Brian Flores there. We'll play some more Flow audio after we talk with Dan Horde. Dan Horde, again, radio voice of the Cincinnati Bengals. He tweeted out some updates from practice today. Joe Burrow practicing, taking snaps, and like we mentioned earlier, it was reported yesterday he's going to play Sunday versus the Dolphins. So looking forward to talking with Dan Horde, again, radio voice of the Cincinnati Bengals. Got a little preview of Dolphins at Bengals. Should my first question be, would you rather be a Dolphin or a Tiger or a Bengal? Is it a Bengal?
It's a Bengal.
A
But it's a
Bengal?
Bengal Tiger.
Bengal Tiger?
Yeah.
Should that be my first question?
Yeah, save it for the end.
All right.
Save that one for the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
You know what? Just talking about the preseason games quickly, just some popped up in my mind. I'm still friends with this dude today. He was on the Dolphins back in the day with me, and it was the fourth preseason game, fourth quarter, and he came up to me. He hadn't played a snap in the preseason. And I have my shoulder pads off at this moment. I think in my fourth or fifth year. Like, I'm a solidified starter. I didn't even have shoulder pads on. Walks up to me. I think I got a dip in. I'm spitting in a Gatorade cup. He's like, hey, should I go tell the coach I haven't played yet? In my mind, I'm thinking, bro, if they haven't played you yet, your ass is cut. Like, it's over for you. But I didn't want to break his heart. So I told him, I was like, yeah, go talk to coach. Go talk to coach. Went up and got cussed out. Man, don't come over here with that. If I want to put you got cussed out. Me and him, like, our relationship suffered because of that situation.
I would imagine, because you knew exactly what was going to happen there.
No, because you can't ask the coach to go in the game.
Of course.
Like high school, they do it. And you're in the NFL, you don't walk up to a DC and say,
Especially,
hey, coach, I'm ready to play.
Especially if you haven't played yet. That means you have zero respect from the coaching staff.
I'm talking about didn't have to take a shower after the first three preseason games.
Didn't
suck, even run down on the kickoff.
Just cut the guy at that point. Like, what do you even still have him on the roster
Sounds
for?
like the dude from Office Space, the dude with the stapler, who's not working there, but he's still showing up to work anyways. He probably was already cut, and he didn't even know.
He didn't even. You know what's sad is that those guys are called just camp numbers. Like, hey, we don't want our starting linebackers playing against the ones all the time. We don't want – I shouldn't have to go hit Vernon Carey every play. Let's pull this guy up to the team, let him go hit Vernon Carey every play, let Vern get a little work, and then cut him. And about 2 weeks into camp, I know who the guys are that just camp numbers. You can't tell them they're camp numbers, but everybody on the team knows you're you're just a camp number.
I don't like it, man. Give everybody a salary. Give everybody a chance.
Huh?
Just do it.
90 guys on every team?
Guy, yeah, 90. 100.
Poor guy. He needs to work harder.
Yeah. Poor guy, though, man. Come on. You knew exactly what you were doing, and you for sure told somebody, yo, check this out.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to go ask coach and get in the game.
He about to talk to George about getting in. I sure turned. Who was it? I don't remember who. I did turn. He was, "How do you think I should say something to George?" "Yeah, man, go tell George you ain't played yet."
Oh, my God.
He goes bopping up there to the sideline. Look at him. He about to get cussed out. "Man, get away from me. He don't ask me to go in the game." "Man, Crowder, you told me to go over there."
He didn't end up playing, right?
He didn't touch an NFL field.
Poor guy, man.
Didn't touch an NFL field. All he did was get his ass whooped at camp. He lived with me, though. After like, because they broke camp already.
Right.
And then you can go home, and he can stay at the hotel, but he was my buddy. He came and lived at my house. So every day as we went out to dinner and, hung out at the house, and I was single at the time, so we was running. And, like, he thought, yeah, I'm a Miami Dolphin. And I was like, bro, it's over for you.
Yeah.
I never told him.
Yeah.
Good friend, though.
Yeah, I can tell.
Man, boy, I wish I was my own
Great friend, Channing Crowder. Yeah. We'll preview the Dolphins and Bengals in the next segment. Dan Horde, radio voice of the Bengals, will join us on Hawk and Crowder.
Cheetah Pompano. That is the perfect location. It's central to everything in South Florida. Your South Florida entertainment spot where you can also be safe. Masks are optional. There's multiple hand sanitizing stations. Make Cheetah Pompano Beach your free lunch hotspot. Why pay for lunch with an unpleasant view? Enjoy a gourmet lunch menu for free daily. 11:30 until 3. If you haven't been there yet, this is not your typical free lunch. That's a full-on kitchen with chefs. You can order off the menu, things like wings, salads, sandwiches. They have daily specials like barbecue ribs, pasta carbonara, seafood pastas, and more. You can always grab your buddies after work. Head on over to any Cheetah Club, Pompano Beach, Hallandale Beach, West Palm Beach. They'll take care of you for the best happy hour and the best entertainment in South Florida. And you'll enjoy $100 bottle specials at all Cheetah Clubs Sundays through Wednesdays. So that is tonight. And you can get all the details on their website at cheetahsofl.com.
Coming up next on the Hawk and Crowder Show.
Hey, Google, swaddle Jakeem Grant.
Hawk and Crowder.
Don't!
This is one of old Hollywood's wildest scandals. A story about my grandparents, film producer Walter Wanger, and actress Joan Bennett. I'm Vanessa Hope.
And I'm Karina Longworth. Together with Vanity Fair and Cadence 13, we'll tell this untold story. A film noir played out in real life.
Introducing Love is a Crime. Tune in at listen.vanityfair.com/Love is a Crime.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
This month on the 11th, a writer named Sarah shares the story of a false accusation of sexual misconduct. And then her inbox is flooded with hundreds of other people saying they too have been falsely accused. A professor, a federal government whistleblower, a candidate for sheriff. What responsibility does she have to these other stories, these other people? Was it her role to decide who's telling the truth? That's this month on the 11th, a new podcast from Pineapple Street Studios.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment, smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
The BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Sports, bets, and entertainment.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. August is a great month to help out the environment by improving your gas mileage. Make sure your tires are properly inflated, and heavy items like golf clubs aren't stored in your trunk. Take your car in for a tune-up to ensure it's running at peak performance. And when the weather is nice, walk or bike to your destination to enjoy a beautiful summer day. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Hawk is out today. It'll be back tomorrow. So it's Crowder and Solana. We're taking you up until 6 p.m. Got the Dolphins playing at Cincinnati this Sunday.
Yep.
I will be there for some Skyline.
You bragging, huh? You
for
bragging?
some Skyline. I'm excited. We're going to talk with Dan Horde here. So you weren't here. You were getting some water or whatever in the break. I asked Steven Brescialo, our producer, I'm like, hey, just double check because Dan's last name is spelled the same way as Leroy Horde, who's our coworker, former NFL player on the morning show on 790 The Ticket. And I just wanted to make sure it's pronounced the same way. You never know, right? Somebody might have a different pronunciation. I just wanted to double check. And I forgot that Leroy played in Ohio for the Browns for a couple years. And Steven was just telling me, right, that Dan knew of Leroy Horde.
Yeah, he was asking if he was on this show, and I was like, no, he's the morning show.
Oh no! If Dan, if he was on this show, we'd need about an hour with you and Leroy. He's probably at Publix somewhere, just
he's talking to
just
somebody.
hanging out.
That's
yeah,
a guarantee.
For
He's
sure,
talking
for sure. Let's go out to the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop over 1,500 Toyotas indoors in one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. I told you, Dolphins at Bengals Sunday, and we're talking to Dan Horde, who is the radio voice of the Cincinnati Bengals. How's Cincinnati, Dan?
Cincinnati is good, and you have no idea how many people in high school and college called me Leroy because there was a player in the NFL named Leroy Horde. So I was so excited to hear that Leroy Horde is doing sports radio in Miami. That's fantastic. Tell Leroy Horde that Dan Horde of the Bengals says hello. He has no idea who I am, but I have been called Leroy many times in my life because of him.
Yeah, so Leroy listens to our show, so I might be expecting a FaceTime any second now from old Leroy. We'll try to connect you two at some point here. So
that's awesome.
Dan, thanks again for joining us. So I was just looking through your Twitter account earlier this morning, and looks like you were at Bengals practice. We know there was the report yesterday that Joe Burrow, coming off that knee injury, he's finally going to get some run in the preseason. Is there any update on Burrow? Do we know how long he'll play? I read it would be limited number of snaps, but what are you expecting out of Joe Burrow this Sunday?
I would expect it to be very limited. I don't know if Vegas takes bets on how many snaps a quarterback gets in a preseason game, but if the over-under is 10, I would take the under. I don't think they're going to expose him to much risk. I have been jokingly suggesting that the Bengals should unveil the first shotgun formation where the quarterback stands 27 yards behind center in order to guarantee that he does not take a hit to the left knee. So he won't be out there for very long. I doubt that they'll have him drop back even 5 steps just to make it as safe as possible. But he wants to get out there and just, check that box of being back on the field before a regular season game. Since it was limited capacity last year, there are a bunch of Bengals fans that have never had the opportunity to see him in person. So it's going to be an exciting moment, even if it only lasts a few plays.
And, Dan, you talk about those 10 games Burrow played, 26 plus 100 yards, 65%, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, but only 2 wins. Is he the guy? Have you seen enough out of Burrow? If he comes back 100% from this injury, is he the future of the Bengals organization?
He is 100% the guy. He was so impressive in those 9.5 games. And you're right, they weren't winning, but they had the lead in the fourth quarter in a bunch of him. It's hard to fault him for the fact that the defense did not protect those leads. And you have to keep in mind that the Bengals' offensive line really, really struggled last year. He was getting pulverized on a regular basis, and to stand in there and deliver the ball the way he did was extremely impressive.
And you speak about that O-line. They pulled in Riley Reif in free agency, drafted Carmen and Smith 2nd and 4th round. Did they do enough to protect that left knee we're talking about with Burrow?
That remains the big question, quite honestly. They also brought back Frank Pollock as their offensive line coach. He's considered one of the NFL's best. He worked here several years ago, and now they've got him back, and I think that's an upgrade. But we don't know for sure. The guards are still a bit of a question mark. It looks like they are going to settle on the 2 most experienced guys, Quentin Spain at left guard, Xavier Su'a-Filo at right. Their center, Trey Hopkins, is coming back from a torn ACL that he suffered in the second half of the regular season finale. So that's a pretty short turnaround for him. I do think it's going to be better. There's no question in my mind, really, that it will be better. The question is, how good will it be? Can it be middle of the pack? Can it be better than that? Can it at least be good enough to make Joe Burrow feel a lot safer than he felt last year? Let's hope, because that's going to be the key for the Bengals to show significant improvement.
And one thing people question with the Bengals was taking Jamar Chase, overtaking a lineman to protect the future of the organization, hopefully. But I know people overreact this time of year, Dan. We do it down here all the time. Is Jamar Chase struggling as much as the national media is talking about it? Can you give us more context to why everybody's saying Jamar Chase is struggling?
He had been struggling, quite honestly, and it culminated in the last preseason game when they threw it to him 3 times on 3rd down, and he dropped all 3 passes. They weren't just incomplete. They were drops. One was a little bit behind him, but the other 2 definitely should have been caught. And the day after that, or the practice after that, he had another day where he had some drops. So it was a concern. It probably still has to be considered a concern, but I can tell you this. He stacked together 4 great practices in a row. He was outstanding today, hauled in about a 50-yard touchdown pass from Joe Burrow where he beat Mike Hilton on a deep sideline route. So at least in the last 4 days, he's looked really good at practice. I'm not sure how much playing time he'll get on Sunday, but he seems to be trending in the right direction.
Again, we're talking with radio voice of the Cincinnati Bengals, Dan Hoard, ahead of the Dolphins and Bengals this Sunday. How was the reaction, by the way, to Jamar Chase? Because I'll tell you down here, for Dolphins fans, it kind of felt like Jalen Waddle was just there. He was the best of the Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Waddle trio. And I feel like I speak for Dolphins fans when I say the majority of them were upset that Pitts and Chase were not there for them at the 6th pick. Of course, Jamar Chase going 5 to the Bengals. Was the reaction a positive one, or as Crowder mentioned, was it really Penei Sewell that most people wanted the Bengals to take in Cincinnati?
Well, it was a positive one, but it was far from 100% positive. There was a borderline civil war among Bengals fans going into the draft. You were either Team Chase or Team Sewell, and there seemed to be no room for compromise where people would say, well, I'd rather have Chase, but I'll settle for Sewell. It was nothing like that. I mean, people were black and white. It's either or. I want my guy. I don't want your guy. But I will say that I think the majority of Bengals fans favored the Chase pick. And now that he's here, everybody's on board, hoping that he can be all they hope.
And Dan, you let me know if it's a rebuild, because when you see them get rid of A.J. Green, Gio Bernard, and Geno Atkins in the same offseason, you kind of looks like we're moving the older guys out to bring in younger guys. Is it a rebuild, and how far along is the Bengals in this rebuild?
You know better than I do. Football is a young man's game. And when you start having a bunch of guys in their early 30s to mid-30s, it doesn't work. I mean, where in the NFL is that formula successful? Washington in the early 1970s with the over-the-hill gang? I mean, it's been a long time where a team with a bunch of old guys has been successful. So you can call it a rebuild, I suppose. They did get rid of some guys that have been very successful, but their successful years were a long time ago. I love A.J. Green. I hope he's really successful with Arizona, but he was terrible last year. He did not get open. The completion percentage was extremely low on passes that were attempted for him. I hope he finds the fountain of youth out there, maybe with a different offense and DeAndre Hopkins on the opposite side of the field. That will open some things up for A.J., but he just was not a very effective player a year ago.
So what are the realistic expectations then for this team this season? What are people, and yourself included, expecting from, a young team, as you mentioned, as part of this rebuild, and a quarterback who obviously showed promise, tremendous promise last season, but is coming off a major knee surgery?
I don't know how realistic it is, but I think Bengals fans are hoping that this is the year that they can at least be close to 500, a game below, a game above, now that it's an odd number of games during the regular season. The problem that the Bengals have is that they are in a division where the other 3 teams won at least 11 games and made the playoffs a year ago. Baltimore's great. Cleveland's great. Maybe Pittsburgh is starting a decline, but they won 12 games and won the division last year, and they're never going to be bad with Mike Tomlin as the head coach. So it's just hard to climb right now in the AFC North. I think the Bengals are on the verge of being good again, but this might be the year where settling for around 500 is realistic.
And everybody's all in on Zach Taylor, right? Like, despite this season, kind of like a breath of fresh air away from, I guess, from our understanding, just mediocrity under Marvin Lewis, or is there still some sort of another civil war surrounding Zach Taylor, as you put it earlier?
I don't think many people blame Zach for the first 2 years of his tenure. He had a ton of injuries. They are going through this process of getting younger again. So I don't think too many people fault him for his first 2 years. Having said that, they've only won 6 games.
Right.
And it's a bottom-line oriented business, as we all know. So they have to show significant improvement this year for people to still be on the Zach Taylor bandwagon.
We're talking with Dan Hoard. Crowder, so he is the play-by-play broadcaster for the Bengals, as we noted. He's the radio voice also of the University of Cincinnati Bearcats football and men's basketball team. Wow. He recently won an award for the 2020 Ohio Sportscaster of the Year. So, I mean, Crowder, we've got the right guy if we're going to be talking about Cincinnati. And Dan, so I'm actually working with the Dolphins this year, and I'm traveling to Cincinnati with the broadcast crew, and we've kind of been going around because I've never been to a couple of the cities that the Dolphins are playing in this year. I had never gone to Chicago, and we brought on a couple of people from Chicago leading up to me going there and telling me, I had to go to Lou Malnati's to have deep dish pizza. I had to go to Gibson's. And we did the same coming up here for my Cincy trip. We brought on Jason Jackson, who is formerly or grew up in Cincinnati. He's from Cincy, now works here for the Miami Heat. He told me a couple different places. Before I read those, what is the number one restaurant or food or spot I have to hit up in Cincinnati when I go this weekend?
Well, let me answer that question by asking you one first. Are you paying for these meals, or is somebody else reimbursing you?
Well, I'm trying to get Dan Marino to take me out to a nice steakhouse, Dan. But no, I will get these reimbursed. But I also, I'm not Jimmy Cephalo or Joe Rose. I'm just Solana. I'm the guy in the background. So I'm not putting a $150 tab on my expense report for the Miami Dolphins. So I'm thinking something reasonable.
Well, the place that you want to go is the Precinct or any of Jeff Ruby's steakhouses. Jeff Ruby is a very famous restaurateur based in Cincinnati, but he also has restaurants in other cities in the Midwest. The man can cook a cow with the best of them. So if you can make it to the Precinct or Jeff Ruby's downtown steakhouse, that would be my number one choice. Now, Jason Jackson may have said try Cincinnati-style chili, whether it's Skyline chili or Gold Star chili, which is a Bengal sponsor, so I want to make sure to mention them.
Oh, okay.
Basically the same product, though. Cincinnati chili is not the chili that you've probably had in your lifetime. It's not in a bowl with kidney beans. It's typically served on pasta with a gigantic mound of cheddar cheese on the top. I didn't grow up in Cincinnati, so it's an acquired taste for me. Mm-hmm. But it is one of those things that you should probably try once in your lifetime. So I will say that. And then the other thing that you should definitely have while you're here is Grater's ice cream.
Grater's
is a Cincinnati brand of ice cream. It might be the best in the world.
Wow.
Oprah has the black raspberry chip shipped to her monthly, supposedly. It's that good. So make sure you get some Grater's ice cream while you're here.
Hey, if Oprah likes it, I mean, right? So
if it's got the Oprah stamp of approval, it's
right,
good.
Right. So Jason Jackson, he told me about the different way Skyline chili or Gold Star chili is prepared.
Yep.
Is there and being somebody who now works in Cincy and didn't grow up there, is there such thing as too much shredded cheese on any given meal? Because it seems like in Cincinnati, as much cheese that you can fit in your both of your hands, that's what's going on the bowl of chili.
Yeah, that's accurate. I mean, if you could picture a football helmet filled with cheese,
right,
then tipped upside down so the cheese lands on top of this plate of pasta, that's what we're talking.
Okay.
I like to invert the process when I go to Skyline or Gold Star, where I flip the pasta and the sauce on top of the cheese to promote melting. So that's my move.
All right.
It's controversial, but that's my move.
All right. No, I like that. I think I'm going to give that a try.
There you go.
That has the Dan Hoard seal of approval. So I'm all in. So chili and the Precinct and Grater's ice cream. All right. Got it.
Boom.
All written down. Dan, really appreciate your time. Maybe I'll run into you in the broadcast booth this Sunday. Dolphins, Bengals, Sunday at 4 p.m. Thanks again.
My pleasure. Say hi while you're here.
Yep, definitely will do. And I'll let Leroy know that at least he has one person that remembers his football career.
Yeah. And leave Dan alone. Solana, don't go find Dan Howard.
Oh, I'm definitely going to go find Dan Howard.
He's working.
Yeah.
He does the Bengals. He does Cincinnati basketball and football. He doesn't have time to sit around and deal with your foolishness.
No, I'll go talk to Dan. Me and Dan-O. Dan-O.
You hit somebody you just met with the nickname
Dan-O.
already? Come on,
You
man.
hit everybody with a nickname.
Well, I don't know their real names. The big dog thing is just it's my out.
It is a bit different. It is a bit different though, right? When Channing Crowder is coming up to say hi, not Solana, the spotter for Jimmy Cephalo.
How do you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Solana. Nice to meet you.
No, like,
pump out my chest.
I'm the play-by-play now. You don't say spotter. You got to find something more.
I'm really not the spotter. Like, we have a spotter. My official title is game day producer, but
that's big time.
It sounds good. It really does.
How you doing, Alejandro Solana, game day producer for the Miami Dolphins? That's what you say?
I just say I'm part of the broadcast team with the Dolphins.
Man, you got to pull out the big man. Pull out the big man.
All right.
Game day producer, Miami Dolphins. How you doing?
Dan-O over here, Solana. Come here. I tried Skyline. I was gonna ask him Skyline or Gold Star, but he said Gold Star is a sponsor of the Bengals, so I'm not gonna put him on the spot.
And Jax told us it's a civil war. You either have to pick Skyline or Gold Star.
Right, and he wasn't gonna pick.
Yeah, you can't go back and forth.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that's a quick preview of Dolphins Bengals. We'll hear from Flo and maybe the Dolphins question of the day coming up shortly.
You talking about delicious food? Then I always think about Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market in Hollywood, family owned and operated in Hollywood, Florida since 1951. I have been going there 17 years. If you're not going to Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, you're just missing out. Doesn't make any sense. Who doesn't love delicious, fresh food, the best price? Go to Delaware for all your lamb, beef, veal, pork, poultry, duck, turkey, the lobsters, the shrimp, the fish, the alligator, venison, frog legs. What I get? The buffalo chicken dip, the smoked fish dip. Oh, my goodness. It is off the chain. The breakfast sausages are crazy good, homemade daily there. Guys, go to Delaware. DelawareChicken.com is the website. See the entire menu. All I just rattled off is still 20-30% of what they have. DelawareChicken.com. When you find out what you want, call them in advance at 954-983-6831. That's 954-983-6831. They'll call you back when your order's packaged and ready. You don't even have to turn your car off if you don't want to. Curbside delivery is available. If you want to go inside, go on inside. Very friendly staff. You can pick out which rib rack you want, which lamb chop you want, which mahi filet you want, whichever way you want to go. Just get this delicious food back to your family, and I'm telling you, they're going to love it. Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market is located off 441, 1 block south of Sterling Road, and when y'all get down there, tell them Crowder sent you.
You know, when I talk about Life Imaging FLA on this show, I'll always get texts that say, preach, Hochman, because one of the things I say is one of the worst parts of our medical system is that it's reactive instead of proactive. And most people want to know if something's wrong early on rather than too late. And that's where Life Imaging FLA comes in. You go there, you get scanned using one of their low-dose radiation CT scanners, and they're trying to detect, early on before you're showing symptoms, they're trying to detect signs of cancer or heart disease. And that way, if it's detected early, you could actually do something to stop the progression. And so I went there. I did the heart scan. I did the full body scan. You could go there. You could take advantage of their free heart scan with just a few minimum requirements and find out if you're at risk for heart disease. And then if you choose, like me, you can also do the full body scan if you want and find out, more information on what's going on. And, do it for yourself if you've been thinking about it, but do it for your loved ones, your spouse, your kids, your grandkids. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements. From your cell phone, just call pound 250, say the keyword free heart scan. That's pound 250, and then when prompted, just say the keyword free heart scan. You'll be connected to Life Imaging FLA in seconds.
This is the Hawk and Crowder Show.
You were supposed to homage me a couple months ago. You ain't never homage me.
I'm gonna.
Hawk and Crowder.
Don't!
This is one of old Hollywood's wildest scandals. A story about my grandparents, film producer Walter Wanger, and actress Joan Bennett. I'm Vanessa Hope.
And I'm Karina Longworth. Together with Vanity Fair and Cadence 13, we'll tell this untold story. A film noir played out in real life.
Introducing Love is a Crime. Tune in at listen.vanityfair.com/loveisacrime.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
This month on the 11th, a writer named Sarah shares the story of a false accusation of sexual misconduct. And then her inbox is flooded with hundreds of other people saying they too have been falsely accused. A professor, a federal government whistleblower, a candidate for sheriff. What responsibility does she have to these other stories, these other people? Was it her role to decide who's telling the truth? That's this month on the 11th, a new podcast from Pineapple Street Studios.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment, smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
The BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Sports, bets, and entertainment.
We're all on this planet together. So join Odyssey and find your one thing. August is a great month to help out the environment by improving your gas mileage. Make sure your tires are properly inflated, and heavy items like golf clubs aren't stored in your trunk. Take your car in for a tune-up to ensure it's running at peak performance. And when the weather is nice, walk or bike to your destination to enjoy a beautiful summer day. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Will the Dolphins make the Super Bowl? No, I'm just joking. All right, let's get to our Dolphins question of the day. Oof, that is loud.
Yeah, you hear that? Don't do that. Put your headphones on.
That would have to be annoying.
Put your headphones on.
That would have to be annoying hearing that every day. Man. Dolphins question of the day. It's brought to you by Dade County Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of the Miami Dolphins. Go to fincu.com for more info. Your question of the day today, Crowder. I want you to remove Xavier Howard out of this equation, okay? Because Xavier Howard was, what's it called, All-Pro? It's not All-Pro.
All-Pro.
Is it All-Pro?
It's the Pro Bowler, but the All-Pro means you're one of the top two at your position in the entire football
He was
league.
an All-Pro last season, and he was a Pro Bowler. And he's still at the top of his game. He just got paid. So I want you to remove Xavier Howard out of this equation. Who on this Dolphins roster right now can you see becoming, not necessarily this year, but within the next 2-3 years maybe, can you see becoming an All-Pro in the NFL?
Ooh.
That's another Miami Dolphins question of the day.
That's a hell of a question there.
Because you want to say Tua.
Yes.
But will Tua ever be, I don't know, I'm just asking. I'm not doubting him. Will Tua ever be the best or the second best quarterback in all of the NFL? I hope. I mean, we haven't had an elite quarterback down here forever, but I don't know. By the way, it doesn't have to be. I don't want this to turn into a Tua needs to, no. He doesn't have to be for the Dolphins to win a Super Bowl, right? Like how many guys, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl, and he was just good enough. That's why I don't know if it would be Tua.
Tua has to be in the conversation because Josh Allen was in the MVP talks. Josh Allen wasn't All-Pro, but Josh Allen went to the Pro Bowl. So Tua needs to go to the Pro Bowl here soon so we can compete in the AFC East.
You would need to be in the conversation for offensive or defensive player of the year to be considered an All-Pro.
Yeah.
Who here is close enough to that?
Wow.
I don't know.
Young team. First name popped up in my mind was Gesicki. I think Mike Gesicki is going to continue to ascend through these tight ends. Right now, all the lists, he's top 10. A lot of them have him top 5. We know he has Kelsey. We know you have and what's the guy's name in San Francisco? Kittle. He's a monster. Right. Waller in Vegas is a monster. I think Gesicki has a chance to continue to ascend to that level. Honestly, I think my answer is Gesicki. I was thinking about like a Jalen Phillips or a young guy you're talking about in the future, where Phillips coming off that edge, the excitement, his range, his athleticism. But number one, crazy to say, I would say Mike Gesicki.
I was going to go Jalen Phillips because I could see – we don't know yet. We haven't seen much of him in camp. But like his body type, the way he plays, his approach to the game, and how the Dolphins valued him, by the way, going in the first round. They had 2 first-round picks. They used one of them on him. I think most people had him going in the second, maybe late first. So the Dolphins clearly saw something in him that other teams didn't. Those are good picks, though. I mean, you could see Gesicki being a top 2 tight end in this league. You could.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, after those 3 I just brought up, Waller, Kittle, and Kelsey, I can argue with you about the other guys. And the receivers, first thing I thought about was receivers, but there's so many of them. The targets are going to be spread out so much. Like, you're not going to have a guy with 1,000 yards.
We don't have DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but we just don't.
One thing popped in my mind, and this, I'm telling you, this is a question. This isn't a statement. Could Waddle turn into like a Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
Because we don't. Yeah, Devontae Parker's not going to be Randy Moss or Calvin Johnson.
Right.
He's too old. But a Waddle, if he can turn into like a Tyreek Hill, blazer, running down the sideline, yards after catch,
OBJ,
yak monster,
playmaker,
that type of guy,
all around playmaker.
Yeah. But it's funny, both the first-round draft picks got brought up in this conversation because you said down the future. So we haven't seen what they can do, so their potential's there. But if I had to bet money, it's crazy to say, I'd say Mike Gesicki.
The 5 o'clock Funky Buddha Happy Hour is coming up in the next segment.
For over 42 years, J&K Roofing has been South Florida's premier roofing company, fixing, replacing, restoring roofs here in South Florida. They're all pro because they're the best. They practice social distancing to keep you and their workers safe, but to be honest, in most cases, they don't even have to come in your home or office to fix those roofing needs. And yes, home or office. J&K specializes in both residential and commercial roofing jobs. There is no job too big. There is no job too small for J&K to handle, and they'll save you some money now. The financing offers you can get through Wide Green right now will blow your mind. And I had to ask him, if you were to ask J&K, how do you stay on top? I did ask him, how? For 42 years, how does that happen? They said it's simple. We have the most highly skilled workers. They're experts in installing roofs and repairing existing roofs, and those expert workers are going to bring the most top-notch material, no matter what you got up there. Shingle, metal, tile, gravel, clay, barrel, whatever you got up there, the best material and the best workers, and that's how they can promise us as customers, and I'm a happy customer of J&K, how they can promise us as customer quality, service, safety, and health. And if you think about it, that's really what we want as a customer. And in South Florida now, it was raining cats and dogs at my house today. When I was taking the kids to school, it was pouring. It's going to rain this time of year. It's not a good time to have roofing issues, and that's why you need to call J&K Roofing today. 954-961-9879. That's 954-961-9879 for all your roofing needs. Give J&K Roofing a call, and J&K Roofing knows we're all in this thing together.
This is the Hawk and Crowder Show.
All right, Miami!
Hawk and Crowder.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment, smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
The BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Sports, bets, and entertainment.
We're all on this planet together. So join Odyssey and find your one thing. August is a great month to help out the environment by improving your gas mileage. Make sure your tires are properly inflated, and heavy items like golf clubs aren't stored in your trunk. Take your car in for a tune-up to ensure it's running at peak performance. And when the weather is nice, walk or bike to your destination to enjoy a beautiful summer day. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Coming September 1st, Rewind 9/11.
Today, we've had a national tragedy.
An incredible plane crash into the World Trade Center.
A look back at the tragedy of that day.
Another explosion has taken place at the Pentagon.
It became very apparent that what was happening was terrorism.
Fox News presents Rewind 9/11.
The people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
Listen on Odyssey,